Are Empire mortars any good? Okay, I've heard the complaints. They're not real artillery. They suck. The Empire only has artillery at tier 4. Yeah. Let's show this as a baseline for all the goodness to come in the roster, shall we? The artillery series moves on. Please like, subscribe, comment, and consider donating to my Ko-fi page to help keep this kind of explosive coverage moving forward. Empire mortars come in at a recruit cost of 650, with 4 artillery models on Ultra and 4,356 hit points spread between the crew. Armor is listed as 20, leadership 50, speed 20. Melee stats basically don't matter, they'll melt to almost anything. The vulnerability is baked into the cake, using flour made with a pestle and mortar. See what I did there? Ammunition starts out at 22 volleys. Range is 380, which to be honest is weirdly long. I mean, not as long as cannons, but you can begin tickling armies at a pretty distant clip. Missile damage is listed as 108, with missile base damage of 100 and armor-piercing damage of 30. This is for a direct hit. Explosion base damage is 60, and explosion AP damage is 16, with a detonation radius of 6. The reason the missile strength is rated so low is that the unit has a reload time of 19, which is pretty excruciatingly slow. Total accuracy is given as the usual value of 20, and calibration distance is 300, with a calibration area of 380. What this means, because I see even content creators getting confused. From 300 range onward, up to its base range of 380, the mortars get especially inaccurate from shots drifting. However, even within that range, the spread of the shots is very high. You cannot rely on this weapon for precision attacks or avoidance of friendly fire, which is never friendly. But like most artillery, you can hold Alt down by default key bindings and click the attack order to attack an area, and in that situation, its very spread makes it a menace to large blobs. What you need to know is that this weapon does strong area effect damage that is lopsided toward damaging weaker armored targets, but will still hurt anything. It takes something like Chaos Warriors to make you feel like the mortars are weak. More to the point, shields are irrelevant to this damage, so things your small arms fire cannot deal with very well, like a front line of spearmen with silver grade shields, including both High Elf and Dark Elf spearmen walls, or I believe Undead still have those, they can be mauled by mortars. Given time, even things like Empire Greatswords will get wrecked by them, but more on this later. How do we buff these mortars up? Yes, indeed. In the standard Lord line, the aptly named Imperial Gunnery will grant you a maximum of plus 20% ammunition and plus 8% missile strength. Note, this is strength, not a decrease in reload time. This is a difference from other factions, and means you are hitting harder, but not depleting your ammunition any faster. Artillery Master gives rank 7 vets and above plus 20% more ammunition, 12% more missile strength, and a 10% reload time reduction. The part I just said was missing from the 3 pip part. In other words, if this is what you want to focus on and artillery is leveled, you have, right there, no mystery, no tricks, 40% more ammunition. You go through the ammunition 10% faster, and each impact and blast hits 20% harder. Don't knock simplicity when simplicity is powerful. You can squeeze a bit more out of mortars with a Huntsman General generic lord with Sure and True, a passive aura in his personal line, but the Empire roster has no equivalent to a gunnery white. In the revised Empire tech tree, everything except recruit rank you get on top of this is contained in the War Machine section, including plus 8% reload time reduction for artillery units, plus 10% more ammunition, plus 8% missile strength. And that's it. Missile resistance doesn't extend to the regular artillery. Do the math in your head and you'll see how this becomes very strong over the course of a campaign, at least on paper. Now, then how do you use them productively? Or destructively? I admit most of my Empire play was in Warhammer 1 and a little bit more in 2, but the old rules didn't really change. Even one mortar allows you to pick apart garrisons without their own artillery. Even one mortar gives you the potential to annihilate units holding a wall, though with recent AI changes they'll probably abandon the wall rather than cling to the towers to the bitter end. That's good for mortar longevity, but the rest basically comes down to the thing the stats won't tell you. The firing arc is really, really high. See, this is both an advantage and a disadvantage. The shots take their merry time traveling to the enemy. The travel time is on top of your reload time because the reloads don't begin until your shots hit. On the other hand, you will fire clean over all kinds of obstructions. Spearman walls, city walls, annoying forests between you and the foe. They may be relatively inaccurate, but there's none of the drama about whether you can fire at all that you'd have with, say, great cannons. The mortars are therefore useful in a wide variety of situations, limited by maximum range and having appropriate targets, as in, these are truly awful for taking down a Chaos Giant or single Lords. Empire units are never meant to operate by themselves. All artillery gives a morale debuff when something is hit, and you don't want to wreck your own swordsmen in the process. You want bullets, arrows, bolts, and magic firing at the same targets, not swords and lances, at least not until the range gets really close. Decimating a target with ranged fire and hitting the target with a mortar battery will delay a lot of units and will break many outright. If you're wondering how scalable mortars are, I'll tell you right now, don't bother. The fewer you can get away with, the better. The value of one mortar can be ridiculous, even incredible. The value of 3 or 4 is wholly dependent on the enemy disposition and invites a lot of frustration from factors outside your control. Plus, to put it mildly, they're of little use in an ambush, and, for the most part, that applies to your ambushes too. They do silly damage in long battles where enemies can be forced to clump up. Scalability isn't the point. No one doomstacks mortars. No one should. Having said that, if you induce a huge skeleton warrior blob to form on the other side, then mortars become the most beautiful creation known to the Empire of Man. The advantages of the firing arc outweigh the risks of shots spreading. Besides, if you stick your steam tanks in the middle of the blob, it'll shrug off the exploding shells and the bone fragments going literally everywhere. It is no sin to be a simpler unit, to have one job and to do it well. And as artillery go, they're dirt cheap. So there's that. Take care and have fun mowing the grass. It's an expression that has to do with big exploding things against infantry.